I'm going to teach you how to crochet if you've never crocheted before, and this is especially designed for a child that is 8 to 10 years old. We're going to make the very easiest project that a person can make when you're beginning to crochet, a friendship bracelet. And all you need to know in order to make a friendship bracelet is 3 things. You need to be able to make a slip knot. Then you need to be able to make a chain stitch, and you make a little chain out of chain stitches. And then the third thing you need to be able to do is finish the chain. Just tie it off. You cut the yarn and make a knot. It's really easy. So let's begin. In order to make a slip knot, you take the end of your yarn and then you hold about 4 inches down with your other hand. So I'm holding the end of the yarn with my right hand and then holding about 4 inches down with my left hand. Then you make those pieces of yarn parallel. And you take your 2 hands and hold it at around that 4-inch point. And you're just going to make a crossover. You make a loop. So you take your right hand and cross it over your left. And you see how you're making a little loop there? And then you hold that loop, that crossover point, with your with your right hand. Then you take your left hand, grab some of the thread, and just push it through the hole, like a rabbit through the hole. Just shove it through and then hold it on the back side. And as you're holding that yarn with your left hand, then you just pull down very gently with your right hand. And see, I have formed a slip knot. In order to make it smaller, we just pull the bottom. Just pull the threads at the bottom, and that will control the size of the knot. All right, so we've just completed our first step, the slip knot. Now we're going to make the chain, and we do that, as I said, out of chain stitches. In order to do that, you have to hold the yarn. So I'm going to show you how to hold yarn. Let's lay the yarn flat on a surface. And it's laying horizontally. Now we take our left hand and lie it flat on that yarn. Then you take the yarn and put it over your pinky. And then you flip your hand over face down. Then you put the yarn over your pointer finger. You can now put your hand up in the air and you grasp the slip knot with your thumb and your 3rd finger. And now you are holding yarn the way that you will for the rest of your crocheting career. This is how we always hold the yarn. You're holding the point at which you're working with your thumb and your 3rd finger. Your pointer finger is extended in the air with the yarn over your pointer finger, sort of like going over the mountain. And then the tail of the yarn that's connected to the skein is threaded between your pinky and your 4th finger. Okay? So now we're going to do our first chain stitch. And this is how we do it. We take our needle, it could be an H, a K, as I said. We put it through the hole. Okay, just like this. You put it through the hole. The first step is very simply to touch the yarn with the back of the needle. So the hook is facing me. Pretend it's like a little face, and it's looking at me, and the back is touching the thread. Then the face goes behind and then comes around again and catches the yarn. And then we pull the hook through the hole, sort of going backwards through the hole. And that's it. I have just completed my first chain stitch. So now I'm going to do a second one. I do the exact same thing. I touch the back of the needle to the yarn. I loop the hook around and hook the yarn, which takes no yanks or pulls. I'm just trying to demonstrate gently, and then pull it down through the hole. Ta-da! Our second chain stitch. I'm going to release my thumb and my third finger in order to move it up a bit, because that's where you control the crocheting project down here. So I'm going to move them up and then do another stitch. Back touching the yarn, go around and hook, and then pull through the hole. Ta-da! Back, hook, through the hole. Move your fingers up. Back, hook, through the hole. Back, hook, through the hole. Back, hook, through the hole. The yarn from the skein is sliding up through my fingers, my pinky and my fourth finger, and my thumb and third finger are moving up each time. They are the point of control of holding on to the piece that I'm crocheting. We do another chain stitch. Back, hook, through the hole. Back, hook, through the hole. We want to keep very, very loose stitches. You don't ever want to do a final tightening. When you learned to tie your shoes, once you moved the laces in the right place, then you tighten. But we never tighten with crochet. We leave the yarn very loose, and that makes fat worms. You're imagining that the crochet string that you're making is like a worm, and you want it to be fat. And it gets fat by not tightening, but instead leaving it nice and loose. So I'll show you once again. Back, hook, and through the hole, leaving it nice and loose. See that extra space there? We want that. We don't do a tightening action now. We leave it nice and loose. Do it again. Back, hook, through the hole, gently and loosely. Back, hook, through the hole. 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 We're going to see how many stitches we need in order to make our friendship bracelet. Claire, can I see your little wrist and see if this is about the right size? Oh, that's just right. Is that about the size that you'd like it? Is that too loose or too tight?
That sounds pretty good.
Just right? Okay. All right. Well, then what we're going to do is our third step. It's all you have to know. We're going to loosen this nice and big so that there's no, that we don't lose the stitch. Take out the hook, set it down, and now we're just going to clip our yarn. Very easy. And then we're going to take the end and thread it through this loop. And now we are going to tighten. We're going to tighten this. If we didn't make this knot, the whole thing would unravel. So you have a slip knot at the beginning, and then you have a knot at the end to keep it secure. And now you're ready to tie your friendship bracelet and then cut off the remaining ends. So I hope you've enjoyed your very first lesson.